Okay, now down. Why are metals called electropositive elements? Why are metals called electropositive elements and non-metals electronegative elements? Note on these questions. Why are metals called electropositive and non-metals electronegative elements? This all maybe one more question. The next one, write down. Which of the two metals, copper or silver, more reactive? Which of the two metals, copper or silver, more reactive? The next, name two metals which react with, name two metals which react with, name two metals which react with dilute nitric acid. Name two metals which react with dilute nitric acid to produce hydrogen. Name two metals which react with diluted nitric acid to produce hydrogen. You know that only two metals displace hydrogen from diluted nitric acid. That is magnesium and manganese. The reason also, if you remember, I told you what happens. HNO3 being oxidizing agent, that oxidize the product that is hydrogen formed to H2O. When zinc is made to react with diluted HNO3, we get zinc nitrate, H2O, and nitric oxide. The reason is zinc plus diluted HNO3, the product is supposed to be hydrogen. But HNO3 is being strong oxidizing agent. So what happens? It oxidizes hydrogen produced to H2O and itself get reduced to nitric oxide. That is the reason. The next question, write down. An element forms an oxide. An element forms an oxide. Capital A, A2O3. Which is acidic in nature. An element forms an oxide A2O3 which is acidic in nature. Identify A as metal or non-metal. Identify A as metal or non-metal. You know the answer. Metallic oxides are known as basic oxides and non-metallic oxides are known as acidic oxides. So therefore, we can understand the answer. The next one. A solution of copper sulfate was kept in an iron pot, POT, iron container. A solution of copper sulfate was kept in iron pot. After a few days, the iron pot was found to have, number of holes, HOLES, number of holes. Pot was found to have number of holes. in it. Explain the terms. Explain the terms in terms of reactivity. Explain the reaction in terms of reactivity, and write the equation of the reactions involved, and write the equations of the reaction involved. And along with that, one more statement you write down, give the ionic equation also, IONIC. Now, how do you answer it? You know the reactivity series, Fe is more reactive than copper. So iron container reacted with copper sulfate to form FeSO4 and Cu. That means Fe is removed as FeSO4. When Fe is not there, what happened? The container is found to have holes. That is the reason. Fe is more reactive. So what is the reaction? Fe plus CuSO4 is forming FeSO4 and Cu. FeSO4, that's a compound. So the container is having holes. It had developed a lot of holes. And equation I told you. And when it is to be if asked, give the ionic equation, then you must write the ionic equation. What is the ionic equation? Fe plus Cu2 plus becomes Fe2 plus and Cu. Fe plus CuSO4 contains Cu2 plus. So Fe plus Cu2 plus becomes Fe2 plus and Cu. So Fe is lost as Fe2 plus. That means the compound is made. And this is the ionic equation. And this is also an example of reaction of redox. Again, summarizing that. Redox is defined as, what do we say? Transfer of electrons, loss and gain of electrons. So Cu2 plus Fe. Cu2 plus means 2 electrons are less. Fe, it has got equal number of electrons and protons. And when the product is come, it becomes Fe2 plus. That means 2 electrons are lost. And Cu2 plus becomes Cu. That means it has gained the electron. And gaining of electron is reduction. So Cu2 plus is reduced to copper. That is, copper sulfate is reduced to copper. And Fe is oxidized to FeSO4. All right. Next, write down. What would happen to iron railings if it is not painted? What would happen to iron railings or your gate and etc. if it is not painted? You all know that we are studying in the first chapter, corrosion. To prevent the corrosion, these structures need to be painted. Simple answer. And this question is having 2 marks, then you need to explain it. Understood it? The next question. A, B, and C are 3 elements. A, capital A, B, and C. A, B, and C are 3 elements which undergo chemical changes, according to the following equations. 3 elements are given, capital A, capital B, capital C. These 3 elements undergo chemical changes according to the following equations. You write down the equation. A2O3 plus B, A2O3 plus capital B becomes B2O3 plus A. So if you want to have the balanced equation, we can make it as A2O3 plus 2B becomes B2O3 plus 2A. The second one, CSO4 plus B, capital B, gives B2SO4 whole thrice, B2SO4 SO4 whole thrice plus 3C. And the third, CO plus A, CO, C is element, don't think that it is carbon monoxide. Understood it? CO plus A gives A2O3 plus C. The question is, which of these is most reactive and which one is least reactive? Which of these is most reactive and which one is least reactive? And arrange these elements in order of increasing reactivity. Arrange these elements in order of increasing reactivity. Remember the metal activity series. More reactive metal displaces less reactive one. You can understand it. A2O3 plus B becomes B2O3 plus 2A. So A is being displaced by B. So B is more reactive than A. Accordingly, you find out it. Understood it? This is an important question. They may give you zinc, aluminum, etc. Normal elements may be given, but mostly the question likely to be asked with these type of letters. The reactions might be given. It will be the balance equation they may be giving it. Even if it is not balanced, what you can understand it is the one which is more reactive displaced. So which element has displaced which all metals? If the element has displaced two elements among three, then that is the most reactive. The one which does not displace anything, that is the least reactive. Accordingly, you can do it. All right, the next one. With the help of diagram, show the transfer of electrons. With the help of diagram, show the transfer of electrons between the atoms, in the formation of magnesium oxide. Between the atoms in the formation of magnesium oxide. Now remember this question, the atomic numbers are not given. So first 20 elements you need to learn. There is no option in that. Understood it? First 20 elements you have to learn it. It is up to them to give the atomic number or not. You have got no right to ask. So if any type of this type of compounds are asked, then within that first 20 elements only it will be coming and you need to explain. You know that how to explain it. First and foremost, you make the electronic configuration and then explain it. What is going to happen between magnesium and oxygen and why it is taking place. Magnesium to get the nearest inert gas configuration, oxygen to get the nearest. First of all, you explain it. I think you can understand that. The next one, along with that, why are ionic compounds usually hard? Same question. This is, how is that ionic compounds in the solid state? How is that ionic compounds in the solid state do not conduct electricity and they do so when in the molten state? They do so when in molten state. Ionic compounds, we have studied the property, they are good electrolytes. Electrolytes are compounds which conduct electricity, which allow the electrons to be flown when in the molten or solution state. In solid and solution state, what is the difference? That you need to explain. The next one. Name the solvent in which ionic compounds are generally soluble. Name the solvent in which ionic compounds are generally soluble. The next one, metal, the metal M capital, the metal M does not liberate hydrogen from diluted acid. Metal M does not liberate hydrogen from diluted acid, comma. But when heated in oxygen, it reacts with it to form a black compound. The metal M, when heated in oxygen to form a black compound, black colored product. Identify the metal M and the black colored product. Identify the metal M and the black colored products. Now going for this one, what is given? The metal M is below hydrogen in the activity series because it cannot displace hydrogen. So it is below hydrogen. Below hydrogen means copper, silver, platinum, gold, etc. You know that gold, silver, platinum are used in the making of jewelries. Why are they used in the making of jewelries? Because they are shiny in nature, they are expensive, and they don't corrode in atmosphere at all. Isn't it? The gold does not react, silver does not react. Silver, we had studied it, silver reacts with atmosphere to form silver sulfide, which is a black compound. It is mentioned it reacts with atmosphere to form silver sulfide, and here it reacts with oxygen. So silver does not react with oxygen. Gold and platinum does not react with oxygen. Then what is option left? Copper. So the metal M is copper and the oxide is copper oxide. Further, it can be added one more part into that. When this copper oxide is heated with carbon, when this powder copper oxide is heated with powdered carbon, then a reddish brown metal is obtained. This is further one. And remember, metals are broadly classified into two, colored and white metals. This is low classes, you have studied about it. Metals are classified into two, colored and white metals. Understood it? And what is colored metals? There are only two, copper and gold. Rest all metals are white. Iron is white. You know that when it's get corroded, it is reddish brown. But if you cut out that, the inner part becomes white. Aluminum is white. Zinc is white. Nickel is white. Sodium is white. All these metals are white. Only two metals which are colored. What? Copper and gold. Copper's color is reddish brown and gold is, we say, golden color. Understood it clearly? Then little bit more questions. Explain the formation of magnesium chloride by showing the transfer of electrons. And this is a simple one. Leaving on that, what is the question asked? Yesterday I told you, an element P has its atomic number 17, combining with an element Q, atomic number 13. Understood it? And explain the chemical bonding between P and Q. So I cannot guarantee that if you write down it as QP3 because Q has to lose 3 electrons and P can gain 1 electron. Normally we write in such a way that the one which loses electron, because remember the first thing that takes place in ionic bond is an atom has to lose electron. The first thing is Q has to lose electron. So that is why we write sodium chloride as NaCl. We don't write sodium chloride as ClNa, but nowhere it is mentioned. But maybe this is a reason. Sodium loses its electron first and the chlorine gains. So therefore, as far as P and Qs are concerned, the Q has to lose 3 electrons and P has to gain. So Q has to lose 3 and P can gain only 1 electron. So the molecular formula is going to be QP3. Understood it? And if you write down the reverse, marks may be given. No, this saying I cannot guarantee that marks will not be given. The marks will be given. But preferably we write in ionic compound, cations are written first and anions are later. So what is the molecular formula of the compound? QP3. Q capital P and 3 is written down. This only you know that. And the question is, give the expected properties. You can understand. You say that the bond is ionic bond, therefore the expected properties, so and so. Crystalline solidities, soluble in water, etc., etc. All these properties are given. This is how one must answer it. Understood it? Then earlier we had studied it. The differences between physical properties of metals and non-metals. You learn any one, either you learn the properties of metals, its opposite is applicable for non-metals. Then we have studied yesterday the comparison between the chemical properties of metals and non-metals and with the reasons. And some properties what I did mention about the reaction of metals with concentrated acid and the reaction of solid non-metals with concentrated acid, you should know. Understood it? Non-metals do not react with diluted acid. The reason it was told you, the reaction of displacement cannot take place. Displacement means hydrogen should be displaced. Why the displacement cannot take place, that also I did explain. Hydrogen is electropositive and I did ask the first question. Non-metals are electronegative. So electropositive one cannot displace electronegative. Therefore, hydrogen cannot be displaced. And whereas these non-metals get reacted with concentrated acid, that is possible. With concentrated acid, why it is possible? Because what is been I told you, concentrated acids are strong oxidizing agent H2SO4 and HNO3. So they get reacted. You know, concentrated HNO3 is the one which gets reacted with everything. Even plastics also will be reacted with that oxidation. And therefore, this concentrated HNO3 before the glass containers and etc. come. Earlier it was transported in aluminum containers. There is a question, there is a statement. If aluminum is dipped in concentrated HNO3, understood it? Dipping of aluminum in concentrated HNO3 reduces its reactivity. Dipping of aluminum in concentrated HNO3 decreases its reactivity. What is the reason? When aluminum is dipped in concentrated HNO3, the aluminum metal gets oxidized to Al2O3. And once Al2O3 is formed, then it is final. And that's the reason you know that electricity, overhead electricity cables, we use aluminum. All metals are good conductors of electricity. We have studied that also. Iron and mercury has got rather high resistance. They also conduct electricity, but not like other metals. Their conductivity is a little less because their resistance is more. You'll be studying that in physics. Iron and mercury, we say they are more resistant, therefore they are poor conductors of electricity. Whereas this one is good conductor. Silver is the best conductor of electricity. So we cannot use silver for overhead electric cables because of costly nature. These are simple questions. Question is asked this way. Silver is the best conductor of electricity and how come it is not used for overhead electricity cables? Simplest answer is silver is being expensive. Therefore it is not used. You know these railway electrification copper cables. You know when they laid these copper cables, they make that copper cables electrically charged. 25,000 volt is a current that carried by overhead electricity cables. Whenever they are laid the cable, already it is electrically charged, so that nobody should touch it, nobody should take it away. So because of costly nature. And why we prefer to use aluminum is the simple reason. Aluminum is good conductor of electricity, first point. Then even if the naked wire is used, it has a coating of its oxide. And that oxide prevents every reaction. Understood it clearly? So study this chapter well. Important, whatever connected with the syllabus I have told you. Rest we'll see to that later. So